out of the water through a deaerator. It de-aerates the water. The horizontal vessel is just a holding section, and that tank usually sits anywhere from 50 to 70 water. It's sitting there at about 112 degrees C. So I use water at 112 degrees C, well above its boiling point, without it just boiling off.
Pressure.
A little bit of pressure. So it's always operating at that 60 to 70 kPa pressure on there, and that's all you need, and you can elevate that. So that water then is ready to get put into the boiler, so it's coming out of there at 112 degrees C. We lose a little bit on the line over, we run it through the economizer, pick up heat again, and then we dump it into the boiler. So by the time our water goes into the boiler, we're hoping that it's around that 90 degrees C. We also inject chemical into the boiler. We put an oxygen scavenger in there, so with whatever the deaeration doesn't get, we put an oxygen scavenger in there. And we also inject a phosphate, which looks after any of the particulate that's in the water. It prevents it from scaling against hot surfaces. It helps it clump together, and then we just blow it out on a mud drum is what that's for. So it helps it precipitate down in kind of a sludge form, not a hard scale, and it gets blown out of the boiler. And the other chemical we inject is an amine, which is a condensate treatment. It gets, the chemical actually is carried with the steam. Steam is the most purest of water form you're going to get. Nothing goes out with the steam. So as you're continually pouring water in, steam out, the total dissolved solids, the crap that builds up in that water, you've got to continually blow that out. And the amine is the only chemical that actually gets carried with the steam. It volatilizes, it becomes a gaseous state, goes with the steam, and when your steam collapses, condenses back to a condensate, then that amine works to balance the pH. We want that pH about that 8.5 to 9.5 in condensate. It's a neutralizing material, so it prevents corrosion, and it's a filming agent in there also. We have a small turbine that drives a horizontal feed water pump, and we use our high pressure steam, and we'll move our feed water with that. We've got two vertical feed water pumps here. We can run them high pressure or low pressure. We can run those things up to about 2400 kPa, because if your boiler is operating at 1400 kPa, you need your pump to push at about 1800 kPa so you can get water into above the pressure of the boiler, right? So the only way you're going to move water in there is you got to have a pump that will put out. So they're all VFD driven. So these are your VFDs that drive your motors. So we can ramp those things up and down however we want, right? So
Do you guys remember what VFD stands for?
I got them at work, but I came up with
VFD. Variable frequency
Drive.
Yeah, so that's what these things do.
Is this a PC pump? Progressive cavity pump? Or is it no?
No, no, it's just what do you call it? It's just an impeller.
That's just a-
Stages of
Oh, okay.
impellers. They're just a cheap Grandpa. They're horrible. Horrible. But they work good on a vertical. This one here, we've had people in, we've blown seals on it. It's not good. I mean, so we use it, but
Okay, so here's a question for everybody. Why wouldn't they use a progressive cavity pump in a steam system? What's the purpose of progressive cavity pumps? Where's the most advantages to use that type of pump?
steam probably wouldn't be good for it. It'd probably
No.
wreck it.
Well, not only that, what do we use it for oil, right? So very thick, viscous. It's used to pump peanut butter and stuff like that. Steam is the exact opposite, right? So you wouldn't have a.
You wreck the pump, you wreck the rubbers.
Yeah, you'd overheat the rubbers for one thing. Yeah.
And as soon as you put,
Efficiency.
like if you're trying to move there's a reason why deaerators are always up on a raised platform, because you've got water sitting there at 112 degrees C, and as soon as you try and draw it with a pump, you reduce that pressure and it flashes off the steam, right? So you put your deaerators on a platform, and we wish this thing was up about another 2 feet, because what that does, it puts head pressure on your pump, so that you're actually moving liquid at 112 degrees C, because like I say, as soon as you drop that pressure, it flashes to steam, and your pump's cavity. So.
That's good. Good point. Thank you.
Yep, there you go. Okay, so this is the fuel train of our old boiler. And of course, yellows are natural gas. So we actually had to get ATCO to up their pressure of their gas that we're bringing in here. So we are serviced at a 30 psi, where a normal residential is about what, 5, 7 psi is what's coming in.
That's it?
Yeah, it's not much.
Holy cow.
So yellow is our gas. So you got a double block and bleed. You guys familiar with that term? Yeah. So basically your vent is open. So these two will open, that will close, and then your gas comes through here. This is your fuel gas regulating valve, air driven, and goes in through your burner. Blue is for
Water. Salt. Propane.
Instrument air.
Ah.
So instrument air. So everything's air driven. So all of these controls, you're going to come down here, and they're the ones that these are air driven valves, but electrically actuated. So you've got a very small electric gear driven sensors up here, but it's the air that drives them back and forth. Okay, so that's your natural gas. Blue is your instrument air.
Oh, brown.
This brown is
diesel?
Change this. It's a dual burn, so we can run natural gas and or we just have to put in an oil gun. So we have to open up the front door of the burner, and I'll show you here.
Change the orifice or whatever.
Actually, put an oil gun in here. So
Oh, there it is.
what we'll do is we'll take these off. We'll open the door up, and there's just inside of the burner. There's just a cap in there. So we move the cap out, and we slide that oil gun in. And what we use then is we use to atomize the diesel fuel, the oil, is we'll use either compressed air or intermediate steam. So we actually have three steam systems here. We've got a high pressure system, we've got a low pressure steam header, and we've got an intermediate. Intermediate is about 700 kPa. So one of these lines will bring in steam, the other will bring in oil, and we'll send them down to this gun. And this nozzle, what it does, it takes the two jets, one of oil, one of steam, and it mixes them, and it atomizes that steam, and boom, you throw a match to it, and you've got a fantastic burn. These things burn incredibly clean with steam, way better than compressed air. It's amazing how it works. So that's an oil gun. So the O and the D boiler are designed for a dual fuel. So the bottom line here is your diesel fuel, and this line here is started on compressed air. Because basically you're going to have water in that line, so you got to kind of use compressed air to get going on it. And what we'll do then is, as it lights on compressed air, then we'll flip it over to steam, and that's your atomizing steam line then. So total different controls, different things, but everything is all the brains of it are right in here. This is our fire tube boiler. Now a fire tube, like I said over here, your tubes are full of
Water.
Water, so we call it a water tube. Fire tube, your tubes are full of
Fire.
fire. So a typical fire tube is like a drum sitting on its side. We're going to fill this thing up with water up to about that word established, and then we're going to run a whole bunch of tubes from one end of this boiler to another. You got a very stupid, simple looking burner on this thing. It's not like a commercial burner, which you see behind me. This is a commercial burner on an industrial boiler. This is to simulate the idea of a large heating plant in a hospital mall, large facilities that will use steam for heat. So that's why this is here. It's a good old workhorse. The difference between a fire tube and a water tube, this thing has twice the water in it than this. So this has about 2,500 gallons, this is about 1,200 gallons. So the difference between a fire tube and a water tube is this is like a good old workhorse. Takes a little while to get her going, but boy, once you get her going there, she's just steady, and you can pull steam out of here and she'll just keep up, like just pull on the old harness. A water tube is like a thoroughbred racehorse. Quick to go, but not so good over the long distance. Like it'll peter out of steam where this thing will take over. So your main burner, it runs a tube all the way down to the end of the boiler, hits the wall, and then comes back on all these little tubes. And then the exhaust gases go out through the chimney. A simple economizer on top, and then your so this is a combustion gases go down one way, come back, and then up. So if your chimney and your burner on the same end, your chimney and your burner on two different ends, it's going to be an all-different class. It's going to be a 1 or a 3 or a 5. Our old Cleaver Brooks in the other lab there is a 4-pass system. 1969 Cleaver Brooks. We got to go take a look at that one. But you take a look at the fuel train. Stupid simple. And again, this is same controls, screens, everything here. So I mean, the same operation basically is what you're going to see on the other ones. Here's your water train. You can see where your water comes up into the condenser or the This is low pressure steam coming in here. So inside the belly of this is a heating coil. There's a heating coil that loops back and forth, probably makes about 4 laps back in here. And this low pressure steam keeps her nice and warm. You put your hand on it, you can feel it's warm. So it stays warm all the time. So when you're ready to do your startup, it's good to go. So each one of our boilers has a low pressure steam loop to it. And this is our little low pressure boiler right here. This thing runs at about that 12, well, it runs 48 is what its maximum is. So it'll run up to about 58. But this bill, again, is very simple, but it is on 24/7. So this keeps all of our boilers hot, with each of our boilers has a heating coil to it, and this is the primary feed to the deaerator. So it feeds, the deaerator keeps that vessel hot and does all the deaeration.